Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the hung jury strapping Josh Finney.
Oh, you're goddamn right. I'm strapping that.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah, Corey, this has been a whirlwind of an afternoon for me. I secured a PlayStation 5 finally. After 7 months of push notifications and trying.
You know what's funny?
I secured PS5.
You know what's funny, though? Like, about PS5, I've secured 4 for people, like, since they started releasing them. And, like, every time I get into the my PlayStation account one, like I'll get in, but I can't purchase one because I've already purchased one through my PlayStation account, and it's not for me.
I've been a little bit upset that I have not been able to get one. I got the digital one, so I can't buy those sweet discounted physical games anymore, but it's okay. I'm just going to be very selective with what I buy. It's pretty much an exclusives machine for me as far as I'm concerned. But then, Corey, we got this glorious Schwab today.
Yes,
and I'm
do.
Scrolling through. I'm getting real excited as I'm looking.
I just want everybody to know who's watching the video version of this show that the thumbnail will be a big fat image of hung jury, and that's it. That's the thumbnail.
You know, I'm scrolling through it because they talk a lot about weapons and armor and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is more than I expected. And then we see the seasonal weapon, and then we see the weapons that you can get in the activity, the new aspirational weapons. And then you get to the section about Nightfall weapons. And Corey, let me tell you something. I screamed when I saw the phrase, 3 familiar weapons will be up for grabs. The Destiny 1 veterans among you will recall these legends in an instant. The second I saw that Dead Orbit logo,
I know.
Everything else went out every single other thing went out the window. I was literally trying. I suppressed my PS5 screams because my girlfriend was asleep. I don't think I suppressed hung jury, though. I'm pretty sure I squealed very loudly.
Yeah.
The cat was alarmed, so I know it woke him up, and it probably woke her up because we got this news like 20 minutes before she wakes up.
Yeah.
Every single person I played Destiny 1 with, or that I know was a hardcore player, I just sent in all caps, hung jury is back.
I know. I saw you tweet it out, and then literally like 30 seconds later, you messaged me. You're like, hung jury's back. I'm like, yes.
This is a glorious moment.
Yeah.
It's a glorious moment, Corey. I'm very excited for this.
I'm too excited, Josh. I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember during the Taken King when me and friend of show Mitch were running through some stuff, and we got hung jury, and I got the god roll with it had like what Firefly and what was the other perk on it? Oh, not triple tap. I forget what the other perk was that was really good on it, and then I realized that the vendor was just selling the god roll, and I was like, it's fine. So I just bought 2 more. I bought one for every character, so I wouldn't have to switch it out.
Dude, it is just one of those guns that and it's funny because I was ready to go in on, what do you call it today? I was ready to go in on the lack of factions. Because I was thinking the other day when I was looking at the armor I want to masterwork, I was very upset about Dead Orbit and how our armor set on Hunters just sucks ass except for the cloak. I was like, God, I really wish I had my Dead Orbit armor from Destiny 1. And then that led me down a road of I wish hung jury was back. I literally was saying this last night, fucking wish hung jury was in this game. Lo and behold, my friend, it was a sign of things to come. I'm very excited right now.
I'm man. That was like the best thing I saw today because I mean, not to get too deep into things, but today was a pretty salty day for me.
It was a rough day.
Yeah. But just seeing the white and black scout rifle of old. Made my day. Made my fucking day, Josh.
I'm excited, but Corey, we're gonna circle back around because we have a whole hung jury segment later on today.
Yeah. It's funny because like the new season, they announced the new season, and the only thing we're talking about for the first 10 minutes of the show is this damn gun.
To be fair, it is the highlight of the story. But Corey, as Corey said, we did get the new season unveiled this week. Season of the Splicer is here. Our buddy Mithrax.
Yes.
Finally come to the tower, baby. Mithrax is here. The Vex have plunged the city into an endless night. It looks really creepy. It looks like something I would expect them to do during Halloween and not in the middle of May, not for the summer months. Let's just jump right into it, though. Season 14, Season of the Splicer. The Vex have plunged the last city into an endless night, threatening the safety once found beneath the watchful presence of the Traveler. Here, bathed in perpetual moonlight, Ikora reveals the identity of an unlikely ally that may hold the keys to triumphing over the attack, which is Mithrax. The Kell of the House of Light leads a small group of Elixni who wish to be close to the Traveler. As a sacred splicer, he possesses the knowledge needed to combat the Vex technology that ensnares the last city. The bond of light is there, and will it be enough? Let's start there. This is not something I expected to get in a seasonal drop. I thought for sure Mithrax would be part of a main expansion. When we first teamed up with him. Yeah. I'm shocked it did not happen in Beyond Light, but his inclusion here makes me wonder if he was originally planned for Beyond Light, since we directly helped some Fallen get away to join the House of Light.
Yeah.
He's mentioned repeatedly in the back half of that campaign. I almost wonder if Mithrax was originally meant to have the Varix role. To some degree.
Yeah.
Or him and Varix were supposed to team up, and simply it did not work. Due to time constraints, COVID, whatever. We know the game was punted by 2 months. I wonder if maybe that was something that was cut and he was brought in for this. Because this feels like something that should be in a main expansion. But I'm not going to complain if this is what I can expect for storytelling beats going forward.
But
we also thought the same thing about Keitel.
Yeah, but like Keitel was like this past season was like a pretty amazing season in terms of storytelling.
It was fantastic. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago with Nerd Generalist and Colonel Panic, and saying how we really felt they took the next step with seasonal storytelling. With Chosen and with Arrivals, it showed what a season can be, and I think especially Chosen because the Battlegrounds reused familiar areas, but in a way that we've never seen happen in Combat with Destiny.
Yeah. Like that area in the Cosmodrome, especially the Battleground, the Cosmodrome was awesome. Especially that first area when it's so tight and so just like, oh, it's just a hallway with a bunch of Cabal coming at you. You know what I mean? Like I really liked the Battlegrounds. They were way better than the Wrathborn hunts from Season of the Hunt. Like no question. Better.
No question. And I think that this is going to kind of continue that. We got confirmation of 2 new activities in here. In the 6-player match-made activity, the Override, you're in a team of 6, and you use Splicer technology to hack the Vex network, uncover secrets, steal the code, and use their power against them. This is continuing that same aesthetic we saw in Prophecy, but like dialing it up a notch. I love this. This is we're calling this Season of Daft Punk.
Season of Daft Punk. I like it.
Season of the Daft Punk. That's what this feels like to me. If we do not get a Crucible, and I'm going to say a Gambit map as well, with this aesthetic soon, I think that'll be yet another failure on the part of Bungie.
So cool. PvP.
This is like, I don't want to get it overused, but this is something I want to see more of.
This kind of reminds me of like I mean, as cool as the Prophecy dungeon looks, this looks like more of like a psychedelic version of that, which, if you can believe that.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, like, so when I say Prophecy, I mean like some of the hallways you go down with your Sparrow and whatnot, with all the bright lights, the area specifically when you're like going down the ribbons heading towards the boss. Like those areas, I guess, are kind of what I get at. Like, and like some of the Sand Ocean and things like that. I really, really, really dig how this looks. I'm excited for this activity. We get a brief glimpse of it. This feels like the next step of the Vex Offensive event from a Season of the Undying. When you went into the Black Garden and you were seizing Vex plates and things like that, you couldn't really fail the event. This is how events need to happen. Like, you couldn't fail Battlegrounds. You probably won't be able to fail this. You couldn't fail Sundial. Not bullshit Seraph Towers. This is just kind of the next evolution for me in a lot of ways. But that's not all, Corey. We've all enjoyed doing these pinnacle activities, these weekly pinnacles for Harbinger and Presage. Presage dropped on us the second week of the season this year. We did not expect it to drop then. They are keeping with the tune, though, with a weekly pinnacle mission called Expunge, which also goes into the Vex network, and it looks very reminiscent of Control. Game Control, not the game mode. It very much reminds me of a Remedy game.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like the hiss are going to come out at me, and I'm not digging that. Each week, Guardians will uncover new vulnerabilities in the Vex network and use Splicer keys to infiltrate and collapse it from within. I just think this is awesome. We know that there's going to be zones on some of the planets, and we'll get into those in just a minute, that also have this same like psychedelic look coming up out of the ground. If this is the kind of mode that they're going to take on with the Vex now, I think that makes them infinitely more interesting than the same tired architecture we've seen for 6 or 7 years now. And I think it really like helps show off the power of these PCs and the consoles that we're playing on now as well.
Yeah.
Of course, continuing on down this post, we get a look at the Vault of Glass.
11 days.
It's a quick turnaround.
You think? I think it's kind of long.
I think it's great.
I'm fine with it, but like, I mean, I know they changed it up.
I think
but
they want
it
to
used
give
to be
players who lapsed a little bit. I think they want to give them a little bit of time because you only have to hit 1,300 to try it day one.
Yeah.
And the new pinnacle cap is going to be 1,320. I mean, me, Nerd, and Colonel are already sitting here at 1,310, ready and rearing and ready to go. Jump in there.
I think I'm 1,306. So
I'm very excited, very ready to jump back into Vault. It's awesome. It's a controlled instance, like we talked about last week. So you can't go exploring on Venus. We kind of get a little bit of an explanation in the TWAB as to why that is. It makes a lot more sense now, but hey, Atheon's here. He's back. It looks awesome. The little tease that we get of it, the GIF of the Guardians loading it. It just, God, I've missed this planet so much.
I'm excited, and depending on how they do Vault, like how they, the minor changes or whatever,
right?
It makes me excited to think about not only the minor changes in Vault, but what other things they could bring back with old content in new ways. You know what I mean? So, man, Vault. This is the big test, I think, for unvaulting content.
I definitely think this is the first one that we knew about as well. We found out, God, dude, it's been 11 months since this
I know
11 months. We found out about this last June. It is pretty much confirmed that this was meant to come out probably in February or March of this year. For the entire timeline got pushed back, not just because of COVID-19, but the online delays and everything else. I do wonder if there's something that they're ready to unvault for the fall season, considering we now know how long that season is roughly going to be.
Right.
It's going to be another 4, maybe 5, 6 month season.
Do you think they'll unvault the old raids in order? You think they'll go Crota, or like make it a dungeon? I mean, we've talked countless times about making Crota's End just a dungeon.
I could very much see Crota's End becoming a dungeon. I could even see it becoming a 6-player match-made activity.
Yeah.
That doesn't really require a whole lot of coordination to do, I don't think.
No, the only real part that requires any coordination is the bridge part, right? But I feel like there's been enough side activities where you have to stand in those stupid circles, right? That people will get it without having to communicate, right? So
right, my gut would be that Crota will probably be unvaulted. Because I mean, they could pull a fast one on all of us, given how this is being introduced in its own controlled instance. They could pull a fast one on us and be like, "Here's King's Fall." I do not think, for the record, we will get 2 raids back to back. I think they would have already told us if we were getting King's Fall. But Crota, I could see them because I mean, remember, we had no idea Prophecy was coming, and it got shadow dropped on us the day it was announced.
Right.
Like the game was literally brought offline. They made the announcement about Beyond Light and about the future of the game and said, oh, by the way, we still haven't shown you the next season yet, which debuts in like 2 hours, something they've never done before. And here you go, because we didn't know about sunsetting or anything at that point.
Right.
And they told us about the sunsetting, they told us about bringing Vault back. I think they're going to pull a fast one on us and put Crota's End in the game this fall. That would be something to kind of help alleviate the annoyance of us having to sit through 2, maybe even 3 seasonal events, waiting for the next game to come out, the next major installment. So Vault, I think, is very much that testing ground, like you said.
Yeah, I feel like Crota would be the perfect one to lead into the next major expansion, just because like Crota and Oryx are so tied to Savathûn, right?
Yeah,
that I think
it's all the Hive royalty.
Yeah, so to me it makes sense. But
can we talk about how dope the rewards look for Vault of Glass real fast?
Yeah,
like I don't like glorifying products that you can buy, but Bungie rewards has been just killing it.
Yeah.
Lately, I found myself already this year. I get my seals, of course, but I've gotten my Hawk Moon shirt, which is super comfy, even though it's long sleeve and I can't wear it anymore in Texas. I've earned. I'm going to earn my gold medal for Guardian Games. Very excited about that. I have done what was something else we did. My girlfriend took my code to get the track jacket you can earn from Guardian Games, because it's like more of a windbreaker style. She's like, well, if you're going to spend all this money on the Vault jacket, I'm at least getting this. Because let me tell you something. The raid jacket for Vault looks fucking hot.
Yeah. The black one?
It looks typically about the same outside. The sleeves are definitely Vault of Glass themed as you get down past the elbow. And then on the inside, I mean, it looks like the Vex Transmat. It looks really, really cool. I like this. Let's be honest, I'm just talking about this because I'm really happy that it's actually like feasible to earn it now for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just completing the Vault by the second reset, right?
Yep.
So
if you complete it by the first reset, you can get that sweet looking Vex ring.
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of people are very excited about that. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I didn't do the Raider ring last year. I'm not going to do this. The seal, of course, which I like the name of it. It's Fate Breaker. Is the title for Vault instead of Fate Bringer. That's pretty cool. And there is an art print you can earn if it's one of the concept pieces for the Vault that we saw way back when.
Of the triangle, like the like the empty pyramid walking up to Atheon's throne or whatever. Yeah, it's cool looking. It's really cool.
That's a piece. Joe and I were talking about it, and he says he contemplated buying a legitimate print of that years ago, but it was like $100. It sold out instantly. This is going to be $25.
Yeah.
So he and I are both like, yeah, we're going to get that. We're going to get it. We're going to get it framed. Very excited though, to give Bungie even more of my money there. Of course, armor synthesis, which I've kind of reversed my stance on armor synth a little bit. I'm a little bit mad about transmog now. Because I started doing the math of how many individual pieces of armor I really want to do and not just sets. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to be at this for like a year and a half. And that's if I earn every single free piece I can.
Right.
Without them adding anything new that I want.
Yeah. So
that's a bit of an issue because, I mean, like, also I'm a hunter, man. I got to have my cloaks. I got to have all my cloaks. It's a problem.
Speaking of armor, can we make a cool cool Titan helmet, please? Just once. You
make it your wish.
I mean, I mean the ornaments for the Titan helmet, it's okay, but like that Warlock helmet is super cool. Kind of has like an Ant-Man vibe going on. But the Titan armor just always sucks.
Always.
I mean, sucks. Like most of the time. Like that's why I wear the helmet same 14 all the time, because everything else looks stupid.
Do you want a terrible helmet or do you want rain gutters? Trick question. You get both.
Yay. But I like the
goodie.
I do like the design of the like most of the armor.
Yeah,
though. It looks cool. Like the theme of the armor sets is cool, and then like the ornaments look really cool.
I think it's really dope. While we're talking armor, though, let's move into the 3 new exotic pieces that we get. Everybody gets exotic boots this season.
Ooh.
Which if they're anything like the last 2 sets of exotics, they're going to be tied to the legendary lost sectors, which means I really should get off my ass and work on those. I just don't like doing legendary lost sectors. They're not fun to me.
No. I do want Thunder Crash, though.
Star Eater Scales allows hunters to feast upon orbs of power, charging their super quicker and making it more potent. So I like that. That basically, if this works the way that we're kind of anticipating it to, it kind of makes it sound like similar in ways to the new Warlock chess piece from this season that basically does the same thing. Lets us get our super very quickly and probably makes them all more viable in PvE content. Because that's one of the big concerns about hunters is we have all these cool offensive supers, but most of them suck. So you're stuck using Celestial Nighthawk or Orpheus rigs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally really excited to pair this with either 6-shooter for Golden Gun or with the Stasis Super. Very excited to see how this works. It's really the first exotic piece hunters have gotten to play around with that will tie back to Stasis. So that makes me really excited, at least that I would use.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Titan ones. Path of Burning Steps. Titan armor that converts solar eliminations into increased weapon damage and makes them more difficult to lock down with stasis. Titans are going to be running Bottom Dollar and Jotun all season long now.
Yep.
All season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't think these look too bad, though. I actually really like these. I like how these look.
Yeah. Yeah,
they don't look as fucking goofy.
Yeah.
Like, mine make me look like a fish, and I don't like it. And you got the Warlocks. Boots of the Assembler. Condenses a Warlock's rifts of healing or empowering energy into projectiles that seek out allies to bless them with noble benefits. We don't know anything beyond that. That's the one I'm most curious about to see how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think that's really going to open up some new play styles. Like, Nerd General was talking to us the other day, or at least to me and Joe, and he was like, I guess I'm building a healer class. I'm like, well, I mean, for like some raid encounters where we don't necessarily need a well because we're all moving around so much, that actually may not be bad. I specifically think of the third encounter in Deepstone or in Crypt Security, hell, even Atrax.
Yeah.
Like I think of it being useful in those, of some of the ones where you're constantly on the move in Garden of Salvation or in Last Wish. Like, I feel like this would be really, really useful. Things like that, or in Prophecy. There's several instances where I can see, especially if you have more than one Warlock, why not throw somebody on that? You don't need like 3 wells unless you're doing Nightfalls. I don't think you need multiple wells.
Right.
So I like that. They're each clearly trying to introduce a new play style or enhance a particular play style in the case of the Hunters. That's something that's viable in both PvE, PvE. Y'all's obviously is for PvP. Another PvP Titan exotic, which I'm not thrilled about. But I do anticipate that each class is going to get something like that, like an anti-stasis exotic, which will basically be exclusively for PvP at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got these armor ornaments. These look fucking sick.
Yeah.
I like these. Splicer themed armor I'm here for it. I really like it. It's like Vex meets Mithrax for this armor. The Hunter Cloak is dope as all hell. This is the kind of stuff to talk about. This genuinely looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
This may be the best set of ornaments we've gotten out of the season pass.
Yeah. This
Ever.
is, I mean, it's...
Except for Titans with that Saint 14 set in Season of Dawn.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is cool. This is really cool. I like the purple kind of glowing, it just looks cool. Like, even the Titan helmet looks fine.
It feels like a more primitive version of the Deepstone Crypt armor.
Yeah, you know what it looks like? I mean, you know what it reminds me of, though, is like the old... It reminds me of the old... Like, they took the old Prison of Elders armor and infused it with some Splicer tech.
Yes. Like, the Hunter Cloak, the way it wraps around, like, the purple cloth that we have on us on our chest piece, reminds me kind of the Marauders that you fight.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me kind of those. Those look really cool. The seasonal exotic that you get as part of the pass is a stasis sidearm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have not watched the season trailer yet, I implore you to go watch this, because this thing in action is... People are going to hate this gun in the Crucible. They're going to call for it to be banned immediately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to take this in there. It's about to be the most used gun in Trials of Osiris. Almost immediately, this gun's going to be the most used gun in there.
Yeah. Let's see. So it's an energy weapon. So what's that going to be paired with?
Probably something long range. I'll probably try playing around with Night Watch or
Hung Jury, I guess.
Probably. Well, yeah. If Hung Jury remains a kinetic, yeah, I would probably pair that with it. I'm excited to see how this works into builds. I really like sidearms. I like using Fool's Remedy. I love my Last Hope, that sadly was one of the last guns sunset. R.I.P. R.I.P. Have not found one I like nearly as much as that, but still excited to play around with this. You got the Splicer Gauntlet, of course, probably your seasonal artifact you're using. Splicer tech that can be charged with ether and used to hack the network, access conflicts chests, and unlock upgrades. So that'll be like your chalice of sorts. Something I want to call attention to on the seasonal rewards screen, though, as you go down there. So you've got your typical rewards. You've got a finisher. It looks like a stasis style finisher from the image. You've got your shaders. You've got an exotic sparrow. You've got an ornament. There is not regular armor given to you in the season pass anymore. If you go and look at it, they do not give you the seasonal armor, and they address this in the TWAB, but they basically say they want you to earn the seasonal armor by actually playing the season. Or getting it out of you're guaranteed it if you go and choose armor out of the Umbral Ingrams and things like that. So all you will get there at the beginning is you'll get your initial XP boost with the sidearm. I really like this approach. They says, they've replaced it with exotic Ingrams, with cores, prisms, shards, etc., etc. I personally would rather have all that anyways. It looks like they may have increased the number of upgrade modules. Definitely just handing out enhancement cores like they're free candy. You're getting upgrade modules up into almost up into the 30s and 40s. You're still getting those. You're getting prisms all over the place.
I mean, you're getting golf balls too, like more than one. It looks like
they increased it a couple seasons ago. I think you get 3 in the past now.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like here. You get 3. You definitely get 2 or 3 helpings of prisms, and with the changes coming to Zavala as well. I mean, I am now at a point where I'm drowning in prisms and I'm maxed out on golf balls. So I'm trying to make a high-statted set of each element right now just to use up some of those.
Right.
Because you're handed so many, why not use them? It is a problem that a lot of us, I think, are going to start hitting, though, of, okay, we can't, there's nothing else to use this on. Like, I'll probably go ahead and do a full set of deep stone armor so that I can use those mods more.
Right.
In the raid, but outside of that, I mean, I've got my set of armor that I like to run because I know exactly what kinds of weapons I like to run and what mods go on those.
Right.
But hey, if you've got it all, why not have a set for each element at this point?
Yeah.
Especially like if you still haven't claimed your armor from Season of the Hunt or from this season, I'd recommend just go ahead and grabbing it and throwing it into your vault. You can always infuse into it later, but that drops at 65, 66, 67-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be pretty even stats, but it's a good starting point.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, I mean, no shame. Like a lot of my end game armor comes from the season pass. I'm not even gonna front.
Yeah.
I have a couple pieces of Iron Banner that I use, but it's such a luck of the draw.
Right.
So.
Right. At this point, any armor that I get under 62, I just dismantle or,
I do too, and that's probably not the best policy to take, but it's the one that we're going with.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're almost done breaking down the new season. We're gonna get into the Schwab here in just a second, but I want to call attention to a chart they have down here where they break down what season pass owners get access to and what everybody else does. Everybody gets access to the raid. Seasonal challenges. You can only complete all the seasonal challenges if you have the season pass. Which I don't know if that's how it was this season, but I like that they're calling that out. You get selective gear and armor, and you get the free rewards on the track. You also get to try the match-made activity, the override, the first week. You get to try it for the first week, 1 week after logging in during Season of Splicer. After that, to re-access that activity, you have to have the season pass. The pinnacle missions are exclusive to it. The exotic sidearm, unlocking it at level 1, of course, is exclusive to the pass.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're going to give you a taste of it because I don't know if Battlegrounds did that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the right thing to do. Let players at any point of the season when they log in try it and decide if they want to jump in.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that these activities are unlocked for everybody once the season is over. I'm not quite sure because our entire group buys the season pass.
Yeah.
And then you got the calendar. May 11th, Tuesday, baby. Tuesday at reset. The intro mission for Armor Synth Endless Night begins. Stasis Aspect quests will be live. New ones. We have no idea what those are going to be. The first Override mission, that's the 6-player match-made activity, will be live on Europa. First weekend, May 14th, Trials. Iron Banner is happening 1 week into the season. With the next override on the moon. Vault hits on the 22nd of May, that next weekend. Weekly Pinnacles start on May 25th, along with the third override mission on the Tangled Shore. And I think that's it for the overrides. After that, you're getting a Pinnacle mission every week up until the end of June. I don't know if they're going to continue past that, if they just didn't list them out here, but I would assume that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
July 6th, Solstice of Hero comes back, along with Vault of Glass difficulty options. Solstice will end on August 3rd. I did skip over something. June 15th, Vault Raid challenges will start, so just take your weekly challenge. They'll rotate through. August 10th, this is the one I want to call attention to. August 10th, it says Epilogue, and it's a shot of a fire team standing with Hawthorne on her perch looking out over the city. And there has been a lot of speculation the last couple of days as to what this is, because that is 2 weeks before the end of the season. The season ends on August 24th. This starts on August 10th. And Corey, something you and I speculated about the other day, and I've talked about with a few friends, is do we think Bungie would be bold enough to destroy the city? Or at least to have us leave the city with the helm?
I mean, like we said, we talked about it a lot. Like, almost the helm would almost be a Avenger style helicarrier base at this point.
Yeah, Joe and I were in there yesterday. There are like 8 doors, and we're only going to be using one of them this next season.
Yeah,
there is enough to get all of the vendors in there, or at least kiosks in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like
that's going to eat away at us, I think, all season.
I feel like they could, though. I feel like they could totally just destroy the city. Would they do that in the middle of like in the middle of a season, though? Wouldn't that? I feel
that's my thing. I don't know if they would actually.
I feel like that would be like a like a major expansion style story beat.
I could see us getting locked out of the city. Like, we think we've beaten the Vex back, and then we're not able to, and we basically have to leave the city and come back later on and free. I don't know. Like, I really wonder what epilogue means. Like, God, please don't be killing Mithrax off after we've gotten him for one season.
They're going to.
I know they are. I know they're going to.
Just because, like, I mean, maybe not. Remember when we thought they were going to kill Varix and they didn't?
It's true.
So, but in the grand scheme of things, Mithrax is not as fan favorite-ish as Varix. So
he's not, but he's rapidly getting there.
Yeah.
And there's at this point, there is absolutely no doubt that he is the single most important Fallen in the storyline. Like, not just that's currently alive, but to date, he is the most important. And he'll be the first one that we actually have a real conversation with that isn't Aramis or Varix. So I'm very interested to see how that unfolds. One thing I didn't mention before we move on to the Schwab, when you look at the image of Mithrax in that season announcement, behind him, it's a background that's kind of grayed out, but it looks exactly like the Insurrection Prime boss arena from Scourge of the Past. The servitor that we retrieved from there, that's going to be basically our seasonal vendor in the hub, like the war table is now for the hammer. I wonder if we're recovering the Insurrection Prime servitor and retooling it to work for us now.
I mean, that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. That would be a great piece of connective tissue for something that felt like it was really detached. And that kind of brings the story with Spider full circle as well, because that's his brother. That's his brother, I believe, is not Insurrection Prime, but his brother was the one seeking to harness Insurrection Prime to destroy the city.
Right.
So I'd really like to see the next evolution on that one.
Plus, one of the override missions ends up being on the Tangled Shore. So I wonder if that's...
I do too. Yeah, I wonder if that'll be it too. Crow will almost certainly have something to do. I wonder if this is the mission they sent him on, was him to bring Mithrax to the city.
Maybe.
That would, again, another piece of great connective tissue that I'd like to see. So when you watch the narrative trailer, though, the little fallen babies.
Yeah.
We've all been taken by them. Friendship with Grogu ended. Friendship with Small Fallen began.
Goodbye, Baby Yoda. Hello, Baby Fallen.
I love how instantly Joe Blackburn tweeted out, like maybe 5-10 minutes after the trailer. He's like, guys, I'm so glad that we spend all this time and effort putting together awesome content for you, only for you to go, oh my God, fallen babies. He's like, if we knew that's all it took, we could save ourselves a lot of trouble. And it's become something of a meme on the subreddit of asking Cosmo or Dylan something and them saying, yeah, we'll pass this feedback along. And someone was like, Bungie, can we please get plushies in the store that are Baby Fallen? And Cosmo was like, I'll be passing this feedback along. And it's like the most upvoted comment of any of those threads from them in like months. It's fantastic. I love seeing it.
That's so funny.
But yeah, it's crazy. We jump into the Twab.
The Twab.
Again, we just went over the calendar. That kind of kicks it all off here. Rewards preview. This is our first glimpse at the actual seasonal armor. This is kind of creepy looking.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this. It's very Spider-esque. It reminds me of the Tangled Web set from Forsaken in a little way.
You know what it reminds me? You know what? Especially the ornaments for it. I know this game comes out in a couple weeks, but it reminds me of Mass Effect. It reminds me of what's his face, Saren. Like that, bug, but infused with tech, kind of eyes light up. You know what I mean? Like that organic, like bio-organic style. Like, it's so
nasty
cool.
Bullshit. Yeah. I Again, this is the base armor that you earn. I don't know if I'll be rushing to masterwork any of this except for that cloak. But, I think it looks better than most of the base sets that we typically get. Definitely better than like the bullshit we got this season and last season.
Well, I'm going to tell you it looks better than most of the Titan armor that we ever get. So I'm going to be probably using most of it.
You have fur on everything yet again.
Yeah. What's with the fur, man?
It could be worse.
What's with the fur?
I think you all lucked out, though. I think Titans have a really good. I think Titans have a fairly good set there. I think they have a really good armor ornament set, though. That's below.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The ornament looks awesome. The ornaments look awesome. The Warlock helmet looks amazing.
And I like that they note that it's all Fallen inspired. Yeah. So like that does make sense. Like when you think, oh yeah, that I see the Fallen. Like the 100 chest piece almost looks like a couple of arms.
Yeah.
For like Vandals, so I really like that. Mm-hmm. Previously, you earned this armor by leveling your season rank and unlocking new pieces on the seasonal track. Moving forward, seasonal armor will be earned from the seasonal activities. You'll be able to generate pieces from these sets using focused Umbral Ingrams. Season rank levels that once featured armor have been updated with Glimmer, Legendary Shards, Upgrade Modules, Exotic Engrams, Enhancement Cores, and Enhancement Prisms. Universal Armor Ornaments will continue to be earned towards the end of the Season Pass. I dig it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I love it.
Really like it.
It's cool.
We get confirmation that in the Season Pass, the weapons that you get are a Shoddy and an LMG. So, God, I need that LMG buff to hurry up.
I know. It's cool.
I have a primed dynamic sway reduction Dragonfly Swarm ready to go. I just need to be able to use it in something, Bungo. I really do like that LMG, though, in all seriousness. Very happy that it was a returning weapon this season.
Yeah.
And then you get a preview of the other 4 seasonal weapons. One of these looks like a breech-loaded grenade launcher.
Yeah. That top one. That top left one. Yeah.
Top left. I think top right. I think that's a sidearm. I don't think that's a hand cannon.
It looks like a sidearm, but would they give you 2 sidearms and not a hand cannon during the season? I mean, I know they don't usually go every.
I believe so. Going further down the list, I believe that's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay.
And then I think that's probably. I mean, an auto rifle seems like a pretty clear solution.
That bottom one looks like an auto rifle.
So I kind of weighed that. I didn't know if it was going to be that one or if it was going to be the middle one. I think
that middle one looks like a scout.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I was thinking that one would be a scout or a pulse. Actually, I bet you one of them is a pulse.
Yeah, well, that bottom one's either a pulse or an auto rifle. That middle one is definitely a scout rifle. Just because I really feel like that's a scout rifle, judging by the barrel and the way the shoulder rest is put on the bag and in the scope. It just looks like. I also
wondered if one of them was a linear fusion, because linear fusions aren't that big of weapons. Arbalest is a really small one.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. The thing that gives me pause is that bottom one, the way you have the little supports come down in the front in an arc, almost makes me wonder that is possibly a linear fusion.
Yeah.
The seasonal pursuit weapon, the Pinnacle. By the way, you do earn these weapons in Umbral Ingrams and Override completions. So this is some of my favorite gun aesthetic I think that we've ever seen.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
At least too. I really like the design of these better. It's better than this season because I'm not a huge fan of the rusted look.
Yeah. No, I'm not either.
I think they look slightly better than both. Well, I mean, nobody really understands what Season of the Hunt looks like because I don't think any of us earned those weapons. And then I think they look better than Season of Arrivals, personally. Yeah. I really, really like this, but I dig like that chromatic look. Previously, you probably would have had to throw an ornament on to get that aesthetic, and I really, really enjoy it. But the Pinnacle this season is a fusion rifle. It's basically being dubbed Loaded Question 2.0, which, thank God. Everybody was very upset when Loaded Question got sunset. And it seems like Bungie's kind of rectifying that in a lot of ways with the weapons they're bringing forward this season. Because when we go down just a little bit further, 3 new legendary rewards, 1 each for each playlist activity is going to be there. There is another breech-loaded grenade launcher for Vanguard, a hand cannon for the Crucible, which is why I don't think that we're necessarily getting a hand cannon.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a legendary sidearm.
Yeah.
And then a Gambit SMG. I swear to fucking God, if this SMG is loaded question, not loaded question, exit strategy, I'm going to be both very happy and very upset. Because I loved exit strategy. And they took it away from me.
They did.
So, on one hand, I don't have to complete a buttload of quests, the quest objectives to get it done. On the other hand, it's like, really? Can I just have my exit strategy back? It was great perks. I liked it. So that brings up the total of 12 legendary weapons to earn, 4 per activity. So Stars and Shadows, so like the things from the first season, Stars and Shadows, Xenoclast, etc., will still be there. Plus the 2 they added this past season in Chosen, and now this one. So all 4 in rotation. That probably means those first ones from Beyond Light are going to hit the vault pretty soon. I would assume, at least, because now you've had several seasons there, and maybe they keep them through the year. I don't know. But if they're going to have a healthy rotation like this going through it, I'm excited. Because you have these, you still have the 5 new Iron Banner weapons that are going to be obtainable this season, 4 or 5. I don't remember how many. This is a pretty healthy amount. That brings you already up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14... 15 including the exotic, and that's without us getting to our last 3, which is of course Hung Jury. Hung Jury is the centerpiece here. The Amalon sniper, and I'm really blanking on what the sniper and what the fusion rifle are, but excited to see those. Those are of course the Nightfall weapons. Adept versions will be available later on in the season. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. I'm very, 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 very excited to see what happens with these.
Yes.
Hung Jury, there is almost no way that is not there's almost no way that's not obtainable in Nightfalls next week. On Tuesday. It's like Shadow Price. That's the one everyone kind of latched on to. That and Palindrome. And that's like weeks 1 and 2. I expect...
Shadow Price is awesome, by the way.
I like Shadow Price. It is for
PvE stuff. I don't really care for it in Crucible, but
I took my Adept one into Crucible and wrecked with it.
Yeah, well, I don't have an Adept one, so...
Listen, I suffered to get that one, and so of course I'm going to be using it. I do really, really, really want to get the Adept version of this gun. When it goes with this and that sniper, people are going to be chasing big time.
I will be. I'm actually going to try to get the Adept version of Hung Jury. I will try to do that.
I mean, there's no shame in waiting until all the Grandmasters are up and just being like, okay, this is the easiest one. Let's do it. Which, I mean, hey, no shame at all. That's what we've been out here.
No shame
whatsoever. Here's my favorite part of this entire TWAB, though. Now, here's the part where we say, and more. There are still more weapons left for you to discover while you play this season. That is great. I like that they're not tipping their hand fully. I mean, so there's probably an exotic or 2 that still have to be found.
I'm sure there's going to be an exotic quest at some point. Right.
So I think that the weekly pinnacle is going to tie into one of the exotics because that's fulfilling the role that both Presage and
do you think it's going to be one of those remember how we kind of thought it would be cool to turn a legendary into an exotic? Do you think that this could be that? You think they could try to be doing that at some point?
Maybe. I don't actually know though. So we know that one of the exotics, they're going to want all the focus to be on Vex Mythoclast when that comes out on the 22nd.
Right.
And we kind of talked last week about it. I really hope there's a quest tied to it this year. Because I mean, that and the raid weapons, that's pretty clearly what they're referring to when they say and more. With Vex Mythoclast coming back in, I wonder how many other exotics will be in this season. I would wager at least one more that like everybody can earn, and I suspect that one will be tied to Solstice at the end of the season, because that's a full month long. I suspect that they'll tie one. Much like Heir Apparent is tied to Guardian games, I think that'll probably happen. And then here's the fun stuff. So there's patch notes. We're not going to go over all of this because there's a lot here. You guys can go over this. There's some new colorblind support. These are just the highlights, too. This isn't even the full patch notes. We won't get those until Tuesday morning. Colorblind support, subclass tuning for all the stasis classes, as well as Chaos Reach. And then there's a note from the Sandbox team. We're working on a slew of tuning updates over the next few seasons. We're aware of key points of feedback in PvE and PvP. We are actively looking at changes in the future for stasis freeze, slow accuracy penalties, and whisper of hedrons, which is the turret for Shadebinders, which, as we found out this week, is completely and utterly broken, and there was an exploit allowing you to get an infinite super as a Warlock, which meant they had to disable that artifact or that aspect because of trials, rather than shutting trials down completely, like the second to last weekend of the season. Again. So glad they did that. Patch notes preview, the nav menu. So nav mode is when you pull your ghost out to look at what players are in your match or to check your bounties out. No longer do we have to manually track bounties. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
All bounties now appear in nav mode. And bounties have been separated from quests. Category switching on keyboard and mouse can now be controlled with the scroll wheel. Track Triumph now appears in its own nav mode category. I am so insanely excited about this, taking a look at this.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those who just pulls my ghost out constantly because I'm usually trying to do 6 or 7 things at once.
Right.
And especially the opening weeks of a season when I'm trying to power level. This is awesome. I like this a lot. This is a QOL change we've wanted for a long time. I think I saw just as many people excited about this as they were about Hung Jury.
Yeah.
UI, Legends added to the Director Destinations tab. This is where you'll find the Vault of Glass in just a few weeks. ... Clearly setting us up for other stuff to be added to it in the future. 6 VC Crucible activities have an updated intro. Cycle through your teammates to view metrics associated with the activity you're entering. A little interested to see how that's going to work, especially for things like trials or, like it says here, Crucible. I'd really like to see that for momentum control.
Mm-hmm.
Helm now appears in the Director Destinations tab. It's been taken off the tower map and has its own map now.
Great.
They're definitely doing more with it if they've given it its own map.
Yep.
Focused Umbral and Umbral Ingram's and Prismatic Recaster. Now, Umbral Ingram's now auto-decrypt when focused via the Prismatic Recaster. You don't have to go to another little table on the other side of the stupid hot tub.
Great.
Yeah, that's, again, these are all very obvious things. There are some changes to Glory, Valor, and Infamy. I want to address these real fast. The Reputations have had their internal systems rebuilt to a unified implementation in-game. Players should accept minimal perceived changes. Unified Glory, Valor, and Infamy rank reputation tracking. Before Forsaken, Glory and Valor only had major ranks, Guardian, Brave, etc. After, they gained sub-ranks alongside Infamy. However, all the historical tracking and quest usage still used the original major ranks. This was a problem we saw this season with ranks you had to earn in Valor and Infamy for the seasonal challenges. It was only counting major ranks, and it was not counting resets. Now sub-ranks are referred to simply as ranks, and all usage has been converted to use them where appropriate, i.e. all lifetime values and quest targets have been multiplied by 3, just to make it easier on us, I guess. Infamy win streak bonus is now linear, 35 points per win. Glory win streak is now linear, 20 points per win. With the eventual update to Vanguard Reputation, players should be ready to spend their Vanguard tokens during Season of the Splicer. Eververse, per numerous community requests, we've added many exotic weapon and armor ornaments from previous seasons to the archive tab. This is a step in the right direction, although it's probably all going to be for silver, and that still upsets me a bit. But I'll kind of take what I can get. There are plenty of ornaments I've missed out from the first year that I would like to be able to get. Corey, I think you've said that there's some Titan stuff that you'd really like to get some ornaments for your armor, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It is what it is.
Yeah, but like now, I really like the ornaments that they're giving us with this season pass or this season. So it's like,
well, it's for exotics and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
The actual armor packages are still in there.
Yeah.
And then spawn effects and shaders are now standalone items in Bright Ingrams, and they can no longer decrypt into duplicates of these items. Thank God, I'll never get another shader again because I have all of them. I have literally every shader you can get out of Eververse at this point because I've been playing for 4 years. Same with the spawn-ins. I'm very close to having all of those, I think.
I hate every time I decrypt an engram and it's like, you got a shader and a dance that you'll never use because it's blue and it's dumb.
Right? That's about how I feel with it.
And then like they always give me a shader that's like really stupid looking, and it's like, come on, man. Like I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a shader that's like the rusted Vex look, but there's like 4 different versions of it. It's like,
yeah, it's just, I'm so happy all that's getting streamlined. Still not happy about 300 bright dust per shader, but General things though. These are the ones I'm really, really excited about. Momentum Control and Team Scorched have returned and will be available as part of the weekly rotation. Not excited about Scorched. Super stoked about Momentum Control. I love me some SWAT.
Yeah.
And with a season when you're introducing Hung Jury to the game, Jade Rabbit, a new competitor, has entered the arena.
Yeah.
Also, Dead Man's like we didn't have Dead Man's the last time we had Momentum. Like that mode's gonna be a complete nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It's Scout Rifle City, but I'm excited. It's my favorite Crucible mode by far. Shahan now has repeatable bounties.
Great. Because that's what I want to do. I want to go back to Shahan when I've done all the things he's offered me already.
And added a full suite of trace rifle focused armor mods to the game. On behalf of everybody who has to be the divinity bitch in a raid or in a dungeon, thank you so much, Bungie. Thank you so much. You have finally answered my prayers.
Josh thanks you for listening to him 2 years later.
I've only been doing this for like 16 months, but I no longer have to throw on auto rifle mods. Of course, in a way, this doesn't benefit me. It would have been better for them to have kept them together with auto rifles, but like it was only for like ammo finder, I think, and maybe accuracy.
Yeah.
Because I use auto rifles a lot in addition to my trace rifle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is a great move, though. This is something we've been asking for. Now, can we get some legendary trace rifles?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's only what 4 trace rifles in the game right now.
There's Cold Heart, Promethean Lens, Wave Splitter.
Remember that weekend that Prometheus Lens was like
a laser tag weekend.
Yeah, that was fun.
Ruinous Effigy. We always forget about Ruinous Effigy.
Yeah. It's awesome. Why do we always forget about it? Because it turns your enemies into little balls that you can throw.
Because it's not practical. That's why.
Right.
There was that one glorious week where everybody used it in Momentum Control, though, and in Mayhem, and it was just pandemonium. There were purple balls flying everywhere, and I loved it. And then, of course, Divinity, which is the only trace rifle anybody really uses anymore.
That's fair.
Because it's like one of the best weapons in the entire game. Yeah. Maybe not in DPS numbers.
I remember we all when we were doing Leviathan for a long time, we used what was it, Cold Heart for boss. So that was fun.
That used to be the strat, yeah.
It was like 3 people were using Cold Heart, and anybody that was a Titan was using Sweet Business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that. I think we got our first completion doing that. It was right before the great Cold Heart nerf of Forsaken. There's one final note here, and this is I know a few people who listen to the show have told me about how they feel about the armor glows and about the specific comment Bungie made last week about, well, we just can't, or a couple weeks ago, like, we can't program them to work. And that caused another gigantic uproar from the community, because 2 years in a row they sold armor glows during Solstice of Heroes, and they've never been able to be used ever again because that armor was immediately obsolete. It was seen as a blatant money grab. At least the ones last year still work. It will not happen in the update next week. We have some news concerning 2018 and 2019 armor glows. It was stated for the glows for these armor sets would not be supported by Armor Synth due to technical issues. Since the new 2020 ornament mechanics were well received, we were able to rework and rebuild the 2018 and 2019 glows and work to address the community's request. The current plan is to make these into universal ornament sets like the 2020 Solstice of Heroes ornaments. This fix will have some limitations. They will not be updated to support stasis, but will support Solar, Arc, and Void subclasses. In addition, granted ornaments will be for the legendary armor set from each year only. Players who acquired any subclass type glow for that year/slot will receive the corresponding legendary universal armor ornament for all three classes. So they're just going to give it to you right off the bat. You don't have to actually use any of your tokens to do it.
That's kind of cool. That's cool.
We are hoping to have the fix deployed by Solstice of Heroes 2021, but we cannot guarantee the date. That makes it sound to me like it's probably, and rightfully so, is probably on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll probably end up getting that probably closer to Festival of the Lost, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're probably going to get this in like with the September update for that final season. I think that's probably when it'll get deployed.
Yeah.
This is a huge win for the community.
Yeah.
But it's frankly fucking absurd that we had to ask and literally beg and plead for years. I mean, like A1 Johnny, for instance, I believe both him and Nerd have bought armor glows in the past, only for the armor to be immediately useless.
Yeah.
And they're rightfully very upset about it.
Yeah, I've heard Nerd complain about it on Twitter.
Now that this happens, I feel a little bit more at ease about maybe getting an armor glow in the future. Because, man, I really liked the stasis glow from last year's set, and I regret not getting it. But I think that's most of the TWAB. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Remember, delete your shaders if you want those legendary shards and glimmer.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of artwork here. There's 2 movie of the weeks. Of course, always go look at all the artwork. All the artwork is Baby Fallen.
I'm gonna submit some artwork.
You should.
I'm going to.
I like all of it. It's all pretty fantastic. And I want to read the tag here from the end from Dylan. This week was a wonderful opportunity to show off some shiny new toys, but the real fun will kick off on Tuesday. The team will be watching as players embark on a new journey of discovery. While I said that earning new loot could be one of the best feelings in Destiny, I don't think there's anything more satisfying for us on the dev side than seeing content finally get into your hands. New story, lore, loot, and hopefully some new friendships to make along the way. This time next week, I'll be wearing some fancy new clothes as I start to prep for Vault of Glass. And it's an image we saw it show up earlier this week. We saw it again today. It's very clearly the Eververse set, and it's like a fucking sweater.
Yeah,
and
it's like fancy Guardian.
Yeah, it's like fancy Guardian stuff. I don't know how I feel about the Hunter sweater because I already have a bomber jacket, but I'm absolutely buying those pants so I can have like fucking jeans and dress shoes.
It'd be awesome.
I'm definitely getting that, pairing it with my bomber jacket and with like the most non-existent cloak I can find.
Yeah, because like I think that stuff like this is cool, but again, the Titan set is like he looks like he's getting ready to go shred some snow in like 2002, right? He's gonna go play some cool borders. You know,
he's an unlockable character in SSX Tricky.
Yeah, like that's what he looks like. Which is terrible. I'm like, come on, guys, come on. Give me something cool.
I'm excited to see what these sets look like up close and in person because, if they look ridiculous, I don't need to buy it. But, I mean, you can buy these pieces individually, week on week as they pop up. So,
I mean, I have 1,800 silver just sitting in my account right now. If the Titan set looks cool, I'll get it. But like,
I really like the set they did this season, the Celestial sets.
Yeah,
I really thought those were cool. But that concludes another TWAB. Corey,
yes.
What do you say we go to a lore corner?
Yeah, lore corner.
on out of here. We were going to recap Season of the Chosen for you guys, but I think you've heard enough of our feedback and grievances for a little while on that front. You'll definitely get our impressions at the end of Guardian Games at the beginning of next week's episode, because as of the time that we're recording this, we're still about 15 hours away from closing ceremony.
Yeah. I mean, I know Nerd and A1 Johnny and have talked about this season on the last couple episodes. I know you guys have kind of talked about it. I just real quick, I really liked this season a lot. I felt like
let's take a couple minutes then. Let's take a couple minutes real quick. Corey, give me your take on this season.
Well, really, since Season of Arrivals, I felt way more invested in seasons than I have in the past. I don't know if it has to do with the show. I don't know if it's because of the people we talk to and play with, but like this season in particular was like it felt more like a minor expansion. Like this season kind of felt like what before they started doing seasons, like what maybe Osiris and Warmind should have been, that kind of level like of storytelling and events and stuff. Like I really enjoyed the storytelling. I really enjoyed the helm and the way you communicated with characters through there. I really liked the banter that you saw between characters up there. I know some of the some of the cutscene stuff was limited probably because of COVID and stuff, but like I felt really drawn into the story and the way that Zavala found out who Crow was and still like didn't really, react. I mean, he understands that he's a guardian now and you know what I mean? Like that whole storyline just really hit home and it was cool. It was awesome to see. And I was really invested this season. It was fun.
I like that you brought up the cutscene limitations because it's pretty clear they had limitations, but I think the manner in which they delivered it was extremely effective for the war campaign that we went on. I think it was very effective.
It felt like you were part of it because you were viewing it through first person, right? Because like sometimes you get those cutscenes and your character's just kind of like walking with Zavala or Anna Bray or something, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool, my character's there. I see you with your purple mohawk and your face paint. But like viewing, like when Osiris and Crow would be talking and viewing it through first person, it really felt like you were there and you were really a part of it instead of just like watching some of it. This
season did something that I feel like we really experienced for the first time with Arrivals, and I think to an extent that we got with Season of the Hunt as well. Like for all its faults, I still think it did this really well. It felt lived in. And that's the best thing I can say is I feel like the universe and the world that we were in felt lived in for the first time over the last couple of seasons. And I think Chosen, if this next season, if Season of the Splicer goes the way that we're hoping it does, I think that we're going to look back on probably Season of Arrivals ultimately, but as a turning point, but Season of the Chosen in terms of like seasonal activities to do. They're no longer public event based. They're no longer like, oh, just go do bounties and shit. Like, I did not do very many seasonal bounties this season.
Yeah.
I did a handful because I figured out that it never said it explicitly, but you could do 8 bounties from the helm and bada bing, bada boom, you have powerful.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I wasn't even going back to the helm anymore because, I play enough, so I've got a ton of loot dropping, right? Like, I take a look at those. I very rarely am I going and dumping things in the Umbral Decoder.
Right.
I think this season nailed it in a lot of respects. And we addressed this the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to dwell on it. The continued feeling like events are more of a storefront for Eververse is still a problem. Guardian Games kind of accentuated that for me. I'd really like to see us have a way to earn either the current armor or past armors.
I think earning past armors would be better.
If you want it bad enough, you buy it the year it's up. After that, I think you should be able to earn it as an unlocked ornament set.
Right.
And then my other big grievance is just the continued silence on PvP and Gambit maps. Is at this point, it's not even just willful ignorance. It's insulting.
I mean, there's
As
only
someone who
what,
enjoys-
2 or 3 Gambit matches or Gambit maps now?
At best, there's 4. But we still have never gotten one on the moon. We have not gotten one for Europa. I think you could easily set a new one on Nessus, like in the aftermath of a battleground or something.
Right.
You could probably set one in the Cosmodrome. You could, I mean, I'd like to personally see a Gambit map set in like the ruins of the tower somewhere, maybe the old tower.
Yeah.
Set up the old tower courtyard as a Gambit arena. I think that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or, you know, something to that degree. Maybe not the tower courtyard, because I still think we're going back there. But something else. I don't know. Something else, like how Bannerfall is a map or something. I don't know. I think there's plenty of things you can do there. Crucible maps. It's frankly inexcusable now. I mean, there's so many. You could do more maps in the Dreaming City. Dreaming City only ever had one Gambit map, one Crucible map, and I believe that Crucible map is no longer in rotation either.
Yeah.
Tangled Shore, likewise, only had one of each. It's to a point where it's insulting. I don't even care. I don't give a damn if you pull Destiny 1 maps into this game. If that's easier for you, do it. Like, you've got to do something, though.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something, and I think you got to do it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Both those communities are kind of at their boiling point, and I don't blame them. If there is not a massive attention to PvP being paid, and I'm not even going to give them the option of either this fall or Witch Queen, you need to state your intentions sometime in the next couple weeks about PvP and Gambit. The absolute latest I think you can do it is when you do the Witch Queen reveal, which probably won't be until August at this point. I suspect it'll coincide with Gamescom. That is the absolute latest you can do it.
Yeah.
And if it's not, you can't say, well, you know, hey, we're finally listening to the community. It's got to be like, no, you also got to own up to the fact that you kind of ignored us for like 2 or 3 years on that front.
Yeah.
So, like, the balancing is starting to get there. The gunplay feels better than ever, but holy shit, we need new maps. I'm so tired of doing the same maps that I was playing in Year 1 or that I was playing in Destiny 1.
Right.
I'm
because Distant Shore, dude, I can't tell you how many times I loaded in a Distant Shore. I'm like, dude, I've been playing this map for 7 years now. Come on.
Yeah. It's a great map, but I'm so tired of it.
I mean, it's a cool map, but like, there's so many cool locations that you could use now to make different maps. And now with this new aesthetic coming with this season, like, you could do so many different things with that aesthetic, or, you know, set a Crucible map in the Prophecy Dungeon. Who cares, right? Like, there's cool things you could do. Like, Crucible's technically not a simulation, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you could change so many things with Crucible maps, and just it doesn't matter because it's Crucible, right? I don't know, man.
You have to, but I don't want to dwell on it. We've gone in on it the last several weeks. Corey, let's go to something happier. Let's go to a lore corner.
Yeah, let's do lore corner because I'm getting heated up. I want to relax. I want to listen to Josh tell me stories.
We're gonna do our final 2 pieces of Guardian games. I debated about going to Captain's Log because I think the Captain's Log is fascinating, but that's like 12 entries. Go read that on your own time. We've covered the story of Catabai pretty thoroughly at this point. And also, if you haven't been scanning your data pads in Presage, you should be doing that because the final room is unlocked this week, and it's pretty big lore implications there.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. I haven't unlocked it on my own. I'm still 2 weeks behind. Because data pads are the data pads are finicky, man. Sometimes they want to unlock, sometimes they don't. So I'm 2 weeks behind. I watched the scene though. I believe it was Bife posted the clip, so I've seen it. I've done it. Excited about it. Still going to do it on my character. But this first one we have is Phoenix's Fire. It's the Warlock bond for this event. Challenge every aspect of your opponent. Sometimes a strong body hides a fragile psyche. Ikora Ray. Prakish sat on his gray Hornet, parked in his usual spot at the base of the tower. The former Guardian read dispatches from Spider's associates with one eye and watched his runners scurry about with the other. The young kids took bets from all over the city and delivered them to Prakish at the appointed intervals. Once the action paid off, the bookie would send the older kids to settle up. Any incalculable debtors were dealt with by Tolnik, his enormous ex-Crosshair bodyguard, who was currently leaning against the tower, scratching himself. Prakish chirped a low call to Tolnik, who snapped to attention. A fire team was gliding toward them from across the courtyard. The Guardians' cloaks billowed in a non-existent wind, and their feet barely touched the paving stones. Prakish rolled his eyes. Warlocks. Prakish called out, looking sharp. I love the bird hat? This is Fellwinter's helm, jackass, the Voidwalker fired back. Probably costs more than your sparrow. Good, Prakish retorted. Then you've got the cash to pay your debts. Valgusco wasn't quite the mad dog you thought she was. The Warlocks glanced at each other superentously. About that, said the Sun Singer. We don't have the moats yet. Tolnik, sensing his moment, stepped forward with a menacing flex. Prakish stayed his enforcer with a manicured hand. Steady, Tully. These are learned scholars. I'm sure they have a needlessly complex plan to make things right. We do, said the Stormcaller through gritted teeth. Double or nothing on the Guardian Games Crucible this week. Prakish gave a low whistle. That's some heavy action. Who are you backing? Us, the Sunsinger responded, against Meloria's Titans. Prakish's eyebrows shot up. Meloria's at the top of the leaderboards. She's dangerous, and you guys are stylish. It's a bad bet, unless... The bookie tapped the side of his nose. You know something I don't. The Voidwalker tossed her head as if flicking her hair, then realizing she was still wearing her helmet, awkwardly put her hands on her hips. Let's just say she's about to have a bad case of existential dread the night before the match. The Warlock snickered. Little trick I picked up from the Scions, the Voidwalkers finished. Titans put all their armor on their chests, the Sunsinger opined, and none between their ears, like a castle with no roof. The Voidwalker guffawed. Isn't that why they always look like they're getting rained on? Stormcaller dropped his voice an octave, puffed out his chest, and lumbered around on bowed legs. When the only tool you have is a Titan, every hammer is a nail. Indeed, the Warlocks chortled and high-fived each other. It settled then. Prakish pulled out his datapad. You guys beat Meloria this week, and the slate's clean. Otherwise, I get the moats, he said, and winked at the Voidwalker. And that fancy hat. The Voidwalker was suddenly serious. Guys, no, come on, she implored her teammates. You know how many engrams I had to... Deal, the Sunsinger interrupted. He removed his gauntlet and pressed his finger to the datapad. Deal, Prakish smiled broadly. Good luck in the Guardian Games. Not that she'll need it. I love these types of lore entries that kind of show us life outside of the, Vanguard. Mm-hmm. And it deals with characters that we're never going to encounter, ever.
Right.
But it's, just so... satisfying. Something about a Guardian bookie just makes me so happy in a very weird way.
I know, we kind of talked a little bit about it last week. It's just
definitely,
it's so funny. It's just it's funny because you think of it's almost like a Star Wars sort of way where in the prequels you're okay, yeah, they're focused on the council and the Jedi and whatever, but then in the second movie, they're down in this slums, and there's bars, and there's the guy selling death sticks, and you know what I mean. This kind of gives
you want
me
to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Oh man, I really hate that.
So
I know
great.
that.
It's so great.
It's the best part of the whole movie.
It really is.
Let's be honest here. But I love how they're showing life outside of the tower and outside of the Guardians and outside what we're seeing. And it's there's actually people's lives are going on and people are trying to live and do what they need to do to survive. And, it's neat. It's cool. And sometimes there's shady shit going on. So it's awesome.
The other piece that we have, we're finally getting to the Titans. Lion's Pride. With fists like those, who needs guns? Everyone else, that's who. Lord Shax. Prakish sat on the Grey Hornet, parked in his usual spot at the base of the tower. The former Guardian was hoarding a kimchi burrito purchased from a food cart with one hand while scrolling through Crucible results with the other. Side tangent. I love that he basically has a Guardian iPhone, and he's doing exactly what the rest of us do while we're holding Chipotle.
Right.
This is fantastic. This is fantastic world building, Bungie. Guardian Games always brought an influx of bettors, and he needed to know which fire teams had the hot hands. It was shaping up as a banner year for gambling. The bookie's hulking bodyguard, Tolnik, was leaning against the tower, looking at Cabal pinups. The ex-crosshair clicked his tongue in warning. Prakash's attention shifted from the burrito to a trio of enormous titans lumbering toward them. A glob of kimchi plopped onto his fur vest. The fire team leader, a sunbreaker, loomed over the bookie. You got something on your hair shirt. Prakash tossed the remainder of the burrito over his shoulder, splattering the side of the tower. Yep, that's alpaca. He crossed his arms over the stain. What can I do for you? The sentinel stepped forward. We want to bet on the hunters to win the games. Prakash's eyebrows shot up. Really? Do I smell a fix coming in? This is huge. He leaned forward conspiratorially. Safala's not in on it. Is he? The Titans glanced at each other in confusion. The striker spoke up. No, we want to bet on the hunters. The bookie frowned. Yeah, you're betting on the hunters because you're going to throw the matches. Their blanked, helmeted stares prompted him to clarify. I mean, your plan is to lose on purpose, right? The Sunbreaker looked taken aback. Titans never lose to hunters. Yeah, we're much better at fighting, the Sentinel affirmed. Hunters are always jumping around with their little knives or hiding in smoke. He waved his arms around frantically. But I just put up my wall and then Tanish punches them, like really hard. It's true, the striker proclaimed earnestly. I can punch super hard. So your plan is to win, Prakash clarified. The trio nodded empathetically. Then why, the bookie asked slowly, are you betting on the hunters? The sentinel scoffed. Element of surprise, my man. They'll never see it coming. Him and the Sunbreaker fist bumped. But all bets are confidential, Prakash explained. We wouldn't be here if we weren't confident, the Sunbreaker bragged. Prakash pinched the bridge of his nose. He was developing a headache. I mean, all bets are secret. Nobody will know what you wagered. Obviously, the Sunbreaker condescended. Wouldn't be a surprise if everybody knew. The Sentinel tapped his massive finger to his set temple. See, Warlocks aren't the only ones who can come up with clever centrifuges. Prakash threw his hands up in capulation. Fine, I'll take your bet. He pulled out his datapad. But I want to be really clear. If the Titans win the Guardian games, you're never going to see your glimmer again. There's more to life than glimmer, said the Sunbreaker. I can't wait to see the look on their stupid faces when they find out. The bookie shrugged. Then it's a deal. Good luck in the games. I think. This is the most Titan thing ever. Really leaning into the crayon eating here.
Yeah. Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Dude, this stuff's so funny.
Do you feel insulted, Corey?
No. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's still funny.
They just said you're big, dumb, and stupid.
I mean, that's...
Twice.
I mean, to be fair, that is the class that you pick when you're big, dumb, and stupid, and that's why I made a Titan. So
This is the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not... They're not... The truth hurts, but it's still the truth.
That's pretty great, though. I really like that we got those 4 pieces of lore over the last couple of weeks, especially the one about Cade.
Mm-hmm.
About Cade and the Crow, that really kind of hit home, especially Christmas Grandma knowing that she was making a cloak for Cade's killer.
Right.
Just really, really, well, I guess not knowing, technically, but her making one for Cade's killer regardless.
Mm-hmm.
That just kind of, hits home. I really, really, really like these little side stories, and I think that that's what these events should tell. If it's something that they give away to you, I think it should tell a little side story, maybe one that, like, okay, it doesn't really matter to the overall lore, but it grows the world a little bit, and it kind of lets us see a different side of the Guardian. So lets us see a different side of the city.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love the little details. The kimchi burrito it kills me. It kills me when I read that line. He throws it over. It's alpaca. Things like that, like, oh, we're gonna bet on the hunters. Like, you're fucking stupid. Why are you betting on the hunters?
So
and I think that also gives it a canonical reason for why the Titans don't win now.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
like it intentionally gives a canonical reason.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty hilarious, actually.
So, but that's going to conclude our final lore corner for Season of the Chosen.
Yeah, man, it's
More
a
stories next week.
new season.
It's Mithrax time.
Oh man, dude, we're getting all of our favorite fall in this expansion.
To be fair, there's only 2 of them left, so
Yeah, that's fair. And one's missing an arm, so
one's missing an arm. He was already missing another arm.
yeah. So
Things are not going great for Varix the Loyal right now.
yeah, Varix. I love Varix. I love me some Mithrax.
I'm just excited to hear him talk.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what's he gonna say? Like, watch him sound like fucking Jim Belushi.
Oh my god.
They secretly got Chris Rock to record voice dialogue for Mithrax.
Oh god. Or Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm tired of these motherfucking phone and my motherfucking cow.
Oh man, I hope he sounds ridiculous.
I hope he does too. I think this is just so great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this next season. Chosen was strong. I mean, in terms of the actual seasons, it's the strongest that we've gotten.
Oh yeah, by far.
I really hope, at least on paper, it looks like they're going to continue this. So, very, very excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this season, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with the long last season, right? Because that's, they can't really help that it's going to be that long, right? But
yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me is how that goes.
Yeah, but I'm excited, man. Season Splicer, it's coming. It's coming.
Season of the Splicer. Oh man.
I want this armor. I want it. So
I want it. I need it.
I need it. I need some purple glowing eye Daft Punk shades. So, well, Josh.
Well, Corey.
This has been another episode of Tower Casuals. I want to thank everybody watching and or listening to the show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a nice review. It really helps us out. Leave us a 5-star rating. Listen to us
crispy 5 stars. Crispy 5 stars.
Yeah. Crispy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count them. If you're a Titan, I just counted for you because we're big, dumb, and stupid. If you're listening on Spotify, follow us. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Josh, where can we find you?
As always, Twitter and Twitch, @Josh_Finn, 2 N's. I'm hoping to get back into streaming here pretty soon. I've got a fancy PS5 on the way.
Yeah.
Need to play through some Miles Morales and through some Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes. Nice. Are you going to play Returnal?
I will play Returnal eventually. I have about 4 or 5 other games I want to get to first. Not that I'm not excited for Returnal. That actually was my most anticipated PS5 game. But I just don't know that I'm going to get to it. And I'm going to be really selective with what games I buy too, having bought the digital-only console.
Right.
It's a little bit harder for me to be willing to spend $70 on a game. It's the same reason why I want to play Sackboy's Big Adventure, but I won't buy it right away because I'm not spending $70 on that game.
That feels like a PlayStation Plus game at some point, right? Sackboy.
I think so. And like Astros is built into the system. Like I do feel like both Sackboy and Returnal will be PS Plus games at some point.
Yeah.
But I did say in honor of the Fire Team, the first thing I have to play on that though is Bug Snacks.
Bug Snacks.
Because I sing the fucking Bug Snacks song all the time to drive people nuts.
Nerd's going to be real excited.
He's going to be very excited. He does not know yet, so it's going to be a great surprise for him. I'm going to record myself playing it just for him.
Please just record your
song like it's DuckTales.
Yeah, record yourself singing Bugsnax song, and then we'll just tag him in it. Just post it like randomly during the day.
Bugsnax, woo!
Man, you can find me at I am Corey HG on Twitter. You can find me doing various other things on the internet. Follow Tower Casuals on Twitter at Tower Casuals. Email us at towercasuals@gmail.com. We want your questions. Enough of you listen. We want you to interact with us. Talk to us.
We do, please. And you can message the account on Twitter. You can message one of us. You can email us. Please give us. You don't have to give us questions. Give us your comments. How do you feel about Destiny right now? What do you like? We have a new season starting up. I want to know what you guys think about the event. About
Tell
the
us
new
why hung jury is the best weapon.
Yes.
So,
be a sandwich casual.
Yeah. Tell us what's on your perfect sandwich. Very upset, Josh, by the way. My parents went to Disney and did not bring me back Earl Sandwich.
Corey, my hotel that I'm staying at is literally next door to Earl Sandwich.
I know.
When I go in September, so I'm going to eat it at least twice.
I know.
And I'm going to bring home sandwiches.
Very sad.
I'm going to spend like easily $60 in sandwiches at one joint. And I'm okay with it.
Very sad.
Corey, get us out of here. Get us out of here before I start thinking about sandwiches too much. I'm hungry.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.